Welcome off the post, brought to you by Coverall Exteriors. I'm Russ Cohen. We've got Anthony Mingione, and how are you?
Later than usual, but we're gonna be rocking and rolling tonight.
Better late than never.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Michael Jello, who's always late. Mike, how are you?
Oh, excuse me. Hello.
And our special guest, Max Miller. Max, what are your outlets these days?
With the Sharks Hockey Digest, that's my own website I created, and I'm NHL.com, which is going to start back up here soon. But those are my two outlets.
Cool. So let's start off with some Sharks talk. Sam Dickinson, I was at the photo shoot today. Sam was there. Presumably he's going to play somewhere this year. Where do you think he's going to play? What do you think is going to happen with him?
Well, I think at minimum he's getting 9 games. I mean, there's no reason to make the move for Ryan Reaves, for Henry Thrun, if you're not going to have him at least see what he did. The way Mike Greer and Todd Marchant, the director of player development, talked about him after the development camp. They raved about him even after 3 days of talking and seeing him and what his habits are and things like that. They were raving about the guy, and he looks twice as big. I mean, there's not much more he needs to prove other than maybe a World Juniors gold in the junior level, but
right.
He's going to start in the NHL in my eyes, but we'll see how long he stays there. I think he's perfect for the AHL right now with maybe like 30, 40 NHL games, but doesn't sound like that rule where you can have a 19-year-old play in the AHL is going to pass.
It's not going to happen. I could tell you that the players that were asked, the players were definitely prepped on it. Like Marty Walsh wasn't there. He'd been at the photo shoot before, but the players were like, yeah, we're pretty sure this is next year, so we're not even thinking about it. So, yeah.
I also felt like
it doesn't sound like the CHL wants to do it anyway.
Right.
I also felt like the turn, and Russ and I were discussing this previously. I felt like the turnaround on that to change that rule was the window almost seemed like a little too short to me.
Yeah.
It would be like their AHL would need a lot of time to prep. That's a whole roster consideration that's involved there that I was kind of going to be curious about there.
God forbid they would not want to do a good idea, because that's been my thing for the last few years, is to have a guy who's 19 years old who's basically not challenged by playing in the OHL or the WHL or the Q, and he has to wallow in some place and not really it really doesn't do anything for them. I just don't.
I would argue a little, but the thing I would say is they're only going to allow one per team, Mike. So it's not like this is going to be tremendous. It's
one's better than none. That's all I can say. Max, the Sharks lineup is strewn with ex Maple Leafs, from Carl Grundstrom to I think the strangest and maybe the funniest trade of the offseason was Henry Thrun traded for Ryan Reaves, because Ryan Reaves was my bête noire in Toronto for 2 years, because Ryan Reaves can't play anymore. And the whole reason that he was signed in Toronto 2 years ago was because they said, well, he's going to protect Matthews and Marner, and he did nothing of the sort. Now it sounds like he's being brought to San Jose to protect the young guys. Is that just flawed thinking, or what is your thoughts on the acquisition of Reaves?
Yeah, I just think it maybe not necessarily toughness, but I think just I mean, he's stuck around this long for a reason. I think part of that preparation, staying in shape, and then maybe not to protect, but that toughness in the lineup. I mean, Grundstrom is more of a skill speed guy who's added some toughness. Barclay Goodrow is only going to give you so much. I don't know how often Ryan Reaves is going to be in the lineup. I think he's motivated to be in this sort of lineup because he knows he's at the end of his NHL career. He's never been a fighter, like a big fighter. We know that. I mean, he only got, I think, 1 fight last year, maybe 2.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll do the same amount. Maybe he'll fight a little bit more here. But I just think that mentorship, I mean, he's a fun guy to be around in the locker room. That's what you hear at every level. And I think the Sharks locker room can kind of breathe a little life into him. But I really wouldn't say maybe more protect. I think it's definitely just that toughness. And then you could also just show, I mean, he's in shape. I mean, he's stuck around this long for a reason. I think that's a work ethic as much as you see him as a jokester. I mean, he works hard and you see that effort out of him. And I think that's something that can rub off, even if he's not like a main contributor or in the lineup every single night.
Max, I know there's going to be a lot of focus this season with Yaroslav Askarov being, looking like he's obviously going to be the primary goaltender for the Sharks. I know he had a particular, he did pretty well when he went over to when he was playing with the Barracuda. He's under 2.5 goals against, about a 92% save percentage. It's going to be an interesting tandem with him and obviously Nedeljkovic. How are you looking? What are the things that you're kind of looking at with Askarov to see if he's ready to take this full step to be a number one NHL goalie?
Well, I think the big thing outright is health. I mean, he missed games the second half of the year. I mean, he's a younger goalie. I don't expect him to play 60 plus games. I think he and Nedeljkovic are going to be a 45% split. I like the pairing a lot. I think Nedeljkovic is a perfect goalie to pair with him. He's a fun guy to be around. I mean, he just is happy to play it in his role. He's a free agent. So I think it's somebody who's going to be motivated to have a good season. And somebody who can push Askarov if Askarov struggles. Nedeljkovic can be a spot starter. I mean, he's better than Georgiev. He's better than Vanacek in my mind. And we've seen Nedeljkovic play as a rookie in the playoffs and also be an AHLer or an ECHLer. Like, he's gone at all levels. He knows what it takes from the work ethic perspective. And from all accounts, it sounds like, again, another good locker room guy. And I think that pairing is going to match well just from an experience side because he's not necessarily an older veteran guy, but he's guy who's been around and knows what it takes, but can still play pretty quality hockey in this league. And he's, been in front of or behind a Penguins defense, which arguably rivals the Sharks defense in terms of quality. And I think the Sharks defense will work a little harder for him and it's a different system. So I think he'll have better numbers than Nedeljkovic would with the Sharks this year than he would if he were to be on the Penguins this year. That's just me, but I like the pairing. I think Askarov, the biggest thing is health, and can he put in consistent performances? He's going to throw in a clunker, every goalie does, but can he be consistent throughout the entire season and healthy?
Max, I also saw Igor Chernisev today at the rookie showcase, and I'm wondering what's the plan for him. I mean, there's only so many contracts to go around.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's signed, so he's part of that deal. I mean, he has the entry level. Okay. I think he'll get some NHL games this year. I think he starts in the AHL. I think a guy like Colin Graff had that spot right now, but we'll see what happens with Michael Meese. I mean, they've shown great chemistry everywhere they go. They got an extra look at Chernyshov last year before he went back to Saginaw because he rehabbed that shoulder injury here in San Jose. So he worked with Sharks trainers. He worked with Sharks extra skaters. So he's been around kind of like as an injured skater already here. So the Sharks kind of have an idea. And then he obviously played with the Barracuda in the postseason. So I think they know what they're getting out of him. And I from all accounts, I think he stayed here, or got to San Jose pretty early this summer. I'm not 100% sure. But he works hard and he's got good skill. The biggest thing is foot speed and just IQ, which is more so for the defensive end. His offensive hockey IQ is really great.
Yeah, you don't worry about that.
Speed.
Max, the Sharks blue line went through a fairly significant shift. They bought out Vlasic. They claimed Nick Leddy, who's 34 on waivers. They signed Orlov to a 2-year deal, and they signed Klingberg. I can understand sort of the method to Mike Greer's madness, where you've got some young defensemen and you've got some holes on the blue line, and you filled them in with veterans. But you've got 5 unrestricted defensemen, and 4 forwards that are unrestricted at the end of this year. Mike Greer is going to get a lot of phone calls from general managers between now and the deadline, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I think he'll definitely get some. I don't think all of those UFAs are going to get traded. It depends on where they are in the standings. Excuse me. I think they overloaded the defense a little bit. That's just me. Nick Leddy is, he can still skate. The defense and the physicality might not be there as much, but he can still skate. Klingberg, I think this is a position where he can benefit the Sharks and give them some quality play while still expressing himself as a skilled player who can contribute on a blue line that in the postseason, or if they're close, stick around. Who knows? I think these guys are kind of that borderline where they stick around here because they're in the hunt. I think they'd be happy to, but I think more so, I think you're right. I think he's going to get a lot of phone calls, but I think he's going to be pretty picky, Mike Greer is, with who he deals, what he wants to deal, because it all depends on who's NHL ready. Is Dickinson still here? Is Luca Cagnoni ready? Is a guy like Shakir Mukhamadullin ready to take on even more? I think he starts in the NHL, by the way. But so the Sharks' defensive prospect pool is still a little thin. So I think he's going to be pretty picky with who he's going to move, because they've got a lot of bodies back there. And Dmitry Orlov is there to be the guy for at least 2 years in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Max, have they, in terms of the Sharks, have they announced yet rookie camp and when it's starting and who's coming?
The roster of rookie camp is out. It came out, I think, yesterday. That's for the Golden State rookie face-off. Rookie camp, I believe, is going to be September 10th, 10th and 11th. I'll be there on the 10th. It'll be right in front of where I'm sitting. It should be good. I think it's going to be like 3 groups is what the standard procedure is. We'll get a ton of media done on September 10th, and I'll be down in Irvine for the 3 teams. And I'm bummed. I go to this rookie face-off every year. I was looking forward to the 6 or 7 teams. And now it's just 3, and there's only 3 games. So it's looking forward to, seeing all the teams and all the prospects. But the roster's out there. I mean, the standard guys is a couple surprises like Colin Graff, who has played 40 NHL games, and his career is on the list. Sam Dickinson, Michael Misa is going to go. Chernyshov's going to go. I'm interested to see the goaltending with Josh Ravensbergen and Matt Davis, who I think are going to be and then Christian Kirsch, who knows where he's playing, maybe Kitchener or somewhere where he's playing. But Matt Davis is probably the starter for the Barracuda this year. I'm interested to see what he does. Luca Cagnoni, he's probably only going to play like 1 game, if that. It's kind of a mixture of young and vets. I think the Sharks probably will field the best roster of that 3 teams just because they have so many guys who are kind of like on the border of being NHL ready that they're still going to bring. So it's out there. I believe I wrote a story about it too on Sharks Hockey Digest, so you can check it out there. But it'll be fun. I love that tournament, and that's kind of like the start of the season. That's go time.
Yeah, it's a shame that teams are pulling back from some of these things, like they're worried about injuries and stuff. I mean,
this was Colorado split off and did their own thing with Vegas and Utah, right? It was they're still having a tournament. They're still having their rookie face-off. They're just doing their own thing.
Abandoned that one for a different one.
Yeah, right. It's like Traverse City. It's completely died out. It used to be 5 teams. Now nobody goes. Now I don't think Detroit. I think it's.
I don't think it happens anymore.
Traverse City's not happening this year.
I was going to say I didn't see Traverse City at all on this because at this time we always start hearing about Traverse.
Actually, Buffalo is taking over as a major hub. 5 teams are coming here next week. It's New Jersey, Boston, Columbus, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo. So
that's what it used to be like out here. I mean, they would rotate between who's hosting. Last year was in LA, year before that was Vegas, year before that was here in San Jose. So it was a fun time. I usually help out with the production crew with that. So, I mean, ironically, if you watch the Sharks stream running the camera on that first game of theirs, that'll be me. And then I'll go into the locker room after the game and then talk to the guys.
That's cool. Max, my last question for you is, are the Sharks still going to deal at the deadline and still trying to get in the top 5? Is that the mindset you think, or you think they're going to veer off from that a little bit?
I think they'll be, in what video game terms when you're playing NHL franchise mode, a quote conservative seller. I don't think they're going to be wholesale sell, because I don't, there's not a ton to sell. There is stuff to sell. I think the biggest piece will be like a Nick Leddy, John Klingberg, Mario Ferraro, and Jeff Skinner. How much are you going to get for those guys? Where are you going to be in the standings? If they're top 5, great. But I think they're going to be anywhere 5 through 7 in terms of the bottom part of the standings. They want to be competitive. They want to be within like touching distance of like we're playing important games in March and April. Do I think they get there? Probably not. But I think they haven't had a good start to the season in like 4 years. That's the key, and I think everybody knows it. There's been at least a 6-game losing streak every year. At least for the last 3 years, there's been at least a 7 or 8-game losing streak to start the season. Well, so that's the biggest change.
That's better than 13.
One of the years was 12. So.
Yeah,
and one of the years got Jay. Their second win was, or first win was getting Jay Woodcroft fired by Edmonton. So,
oh jeez.
But yeah, I think they'll get closer, but they'll still be towards the bottom.
Yeah, I agree. Max, obviously, also I know this year you're joining up with us here at Hockey Hot Stove as well. I'm looking forward to obviously seeing your stuff on the site. I've obviously read your stuff at other locations, but certainly happy to have you on board as a teammate with us.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Once a week, just kind of I'm thinking kind of a roundup. There's news. Happy to be part of the squad and contribute, get my name out there. Things like that should be fun.
Awesome, Max. Thanks for coming on and thanks for catching up with us.
Anytime, guys.
Take care, Max. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, I'll give a quick report from the rookie showcase. Some of the fun stuff. Turns out Garnet Hathaway can cook a great ribeye.
I'm not that shocked. I have a feeling he seems like a cultured gentleman out there.
He cooked it to order, like what Carson DeWart told me. He cooked it exactly the way he liked it. So that's it's impressive. There was a lot of fishing talk, so I'll be doing a fishing article tomorrow and giving all the insight from all the guys that talked about fishing.
Actual fishing or fishing with a PH?
No, actual fishing. Like there was a bunch of Minnesotans there, so I guess it's not surprising. You had Oliver Moore, you had Snuggerud. There's a bunch of Minnesota guys, but fishing went beyond that.
Mhm.
And so that was interesting. There was some tractor talk, and that was fun. That was a bonus.
Was that Brady? Was it Brady Martin?
And no, Brady Martin was not there.
Ah,
He's
no,
on the
he's too big.
farm.
He's at the farm, exactly. Well, I was going to say maybe he chopped in a little tractor talk and then went to the farm.
No, but Cam Squires, I asked him about New Jersey drivers, and he laughed and said, "Yeah, they're very aggressive, and it's not like that at home." He said, "I see a lot of tractors at home." So that was
you got to watch out for aggressive tractors.
So we got into tractor talk. We did get into the AHL 19-year-old talk, and those players were well schooled on it. So we don't have to go any further on that one.
Mhm.
We saw the Mammoth uniform in full splendor, and it looks cool. It's a nice logo. That was cool.
The color scheme, everything else about it, the color scheme is and the design is pretty much similar, right?
Yeah, it's similar.
The shoulder yoke.
Yeah, the way it looks with that is interesting. The Blues, the Snuggerud was wearing that new. I guess it's
God, I love that jersey. That might be my favorite New Jersey. Yeah, that might be my favorite New Jersey.
It's like a medium blue. It was interesting.
It's nice. It's closer to what kind of along the lines of the classical jersey, without having the dark blue in this case. I'm a fan because there's nobody else in the NHL who's got that kind of shade.
Yeah.
So.
Matthew Schaefer answered an awful lot of questions. Like, he's really carrying, the load as far as being the number one guy, and he seems to enjoy it.
What was this thing about 40? Him and Briere at 48?
Yeah.
What was that?
Apparently, he and his brother were big fans of Danny Briere, and I think his number was taken on the Islanders, so he reverted back to 48 because he likes Danny Briere. So yeah, that was one of his favorite players, if not his favorite player in their household growing up. So he took it.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting one. That was, and Gabe Perreault had to get 94 because his number was taken in the Rangers system. So he reverted back to the old man's number, is the way he put it.
He's wearing 44?
94.
94. Okay, because I thought he wore 44 when he was at Toronto.
I mean, he may have, but he's
Yannick, right?
Yeah,
his dad was Yannick.
Yeah,
gotcha. I figured. Yeah.
Yeah, so he may have, but whatever. It's 90.
At some point he wore. I think he's right. He did wear 94 at some point.
I think I asked him at the combine whether he was as good as on faceoffs as he was as his dad was, because his dad was phenomenal on faceoffs.
He was a faceoff ace.
That's not his game. But he did look about 5 pounds heavier. DeWart looked about, I think he told me he was 7 pounds of muscle.
My favorite thing is always when we started asking guys at combine about their weight and adding weight, and the rest of us human beings are trying to lose it.
I know. Beckett Seneca.
Can I give you that 5 pounds, please?
Beckett Seneca believes he has stopped growing, but he's not certain of that. Matthew Wood isn't sure if he's grown because he hasn't checked, but he looked a little taller. I'm
not sure.
I'm like that with the scale.
I think he may have grown, but it was an interesting group, and it was a fun event. I'll have some stuff up. I do already have some things up on Instagram and Twitter. I did put a lot of pictures up on Twitter. And so, yeah, a lot of fun stuff. The Zane Parekh mustache was terrific.
That's fascinating. That mustache.
That fake mustache, that was great.
I was like, wow, man.
My hard-hitting question was, do you feel more confident in the offensive zone with that mustache? And he goes, I think so. I think I could score more points with this.
Nothing like a good old Duster. But he could very well go the whole Dave Babbage route, which means he won't get as many points as he thinks he should.
And Schaefer interviewed him, but I didn't notice because I was in the middle of the scrum that Schaefer had a Fu Manchu while he was interviewing him for a second, which was funny. Also, Schaefer was wearing those Meta glasses and interviewed some of the guys with the Meta glasses on. So who knows where that will pop up?
He got all the questions on the screen in advance.
I don't know, but he was just figuring out how to use it, and then he realized there was audio involved that he could use. So then he started asking guys questions and stuff. That became a little bit of the thing.
Well, the interesting news that came out today. Well, a couple things. One, that the NHL is going to adopt some of the changes in the CBA starting now,
Right.
including the LTIR for the playoffs and a couple other aspects. And that one I think is going to throw the double retention one. I think that sucks. I mean, I didn't like it when it was part of the new CBA as it was, but I was hoping that they would let it go for one more year so teams could do the things that they did before. But they're just not going to have it, and they're going to do away with it. So, I mean, what do you guys think?
I mean, I think at this point they do have to police the playoffs a little bit, and
it's been. Listen, we I think we've heard enough.
It's been a little shysterish.
It has been, and teams I think have a right to be. Other teams have a right to kind of look at the situation with a very jaundiced eye and say,
yeah, I was thinking jaundiced eye too. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, and be like, we know what you're doing. It ain't, and this is not, you found the loophole. Awesome. Loopholes are meant to be closed too.
Right.
Now, I don't think anybody is complaining about the news that Pierre LeBrun reported. I think it was this morning that the plan is for with the new 84 game schedule, with the season to start in September. Like
almost mid to late September now. Or so.
It sounds like probably like in the 20th or somewhere around there. Yeah, which I absolutely love it. It's like get rid of some of the preseason games, shorten up the training camp. The Stanley Cup will be awarded by mid-June, which means the draft will probably,
which has kind of been where it's been lately anyway.
June
right?
Draft, which is great, like early June draft. But
we know the motivation of this is they want to all go to the Muskokas. On July 1st in Canada, they all want to it's like after.
I don't think that's the real reason.
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Gotta get to the cottage, boys.
But I will say, I mean, if September 20th is the date, I go to the Fall Classic every year, and I usually come home on the 21st. It's possible I can miss like a home opener, but hey, it's the way it goes, man.
Yeah, I mean,
it is early.
It is, but again, we'll see.
I wonder if the other leagues will adjust too. We'll see. Maybe they'll have their tournament early. Who knows? It's
possible. I think everybody. Well, like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, when the NHL sets a schedule, when it comes to the hockey world, it's the tail that wags the dog, right?
Yeah, it is. Mike, what else was going on today? Because I was in my own little bubble.
Well, it wasn't today, but yesterday. And this is minor news. I mean, not because he's not going to be on the NHL roster, but it was conspicuous that the Leafs announced a 3-year contract extension for Dennis Hildeby. Now, he's the guy who's going to be the number 3 after your buddy Matt Murray went to Seattle. He had a few NHL games last year. He had a decent second season in the AHL with the Marlies. Mm-hmm. The curious thing about that, and I'm not 100% sure about his waiver exemption status, but the first 2 years, it's a 3-year deal, which I think is structured to sort of scare teams away from claiming him on waivers because it's a 3-year deal. And right now he's a borderline NHLer. I mean, he's the third guy in case somebody gets hurt, he gets called up, but that's a heck of a commitment. Now it's under $1 million. It's 841 and change, but still teams don't want to, unless they really like the player.
Yeah, they don't want that much term.
Right, but the first 2 years are 2-way, and then the third year is a 1-way deal. I mean, I like him as a goaltender.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, but the interesting thing here is, and believe me, they have had issues developing their own goaltenders. Felix Potvin, Joseph Wall, and James Reimer are all in the top 10 in career victories in terms of NHL goalies who were drafted by the Leafs. You know who number 1 is? Tuukka Rask. But he never won one game with the Leafs.
Right.
But they have a situation now, Russ, where they have 3 goalies under the age of 24, and you can only really play 2 of them in the American Hockey League. They have the Russian kid Peksa, who's played 2 years in the ECHL, and another Russian, and Hildeby. So it's almost like you have to care, if you're not going to stunt their growth, you have to probably play 3 goalies in the American Hockey League or rotate 2 of these guys between the ECHL and the AHL.
It's not unheard of in this case, but I think it would, if you start getting on a roll with 2 guys, you got to make sure to get the third guy time in the E if you need to, especially whoever the youngest of the bunch is too. I mean, the Flyers are maybe facing this exact situation with the Phantoms. When you have Fedotov, you have Kolosov, who reportedly was okay with being in the AHL apparently now. And
I mean, that's what we hear, but we don't know.
That's what we hear until it gets here. Exactly.
Right.
And then you have Bjarnason in the mix, and these are all things that have to shake themselves out, but it's certainly not unheard of.
No, I mean, the thing is, though, when we spoke to John Snowden on Locked On Flyers, he doesn't know beyond Carson Bjarnason who else is going to be in Lehigh Valley. So I think if it was tried and true, Kolosov's definitely going to go. I think he would say both him and Fedotov's names and say, one of those guys, but he didn't talk about either one of them.
I mean, he may not be. He may. It's the old story.
There is
he may not be able. He's going to probably talk about the one guy that he knows for sure, and then see how the other things play out.
But it's up in the air. It's not a definite.
Because you have to remember, it is. I mean, you have to remember also that the Flyers are basically with 4 goalies at the moment,
Which is ridiculous.
Which is and they see it as an open competition right now. But we know we know that Urson and Vladar are likely the ones with the heads with the leg up on the other 2.
Right. Yeah, they're going to start the season, but it's a weird thing. The U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame had inductions today.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get on that call, but the NHLers, it's Zach Parisi, Joe Pavelski, and Scott Gomez. All good choices. I mean, they're all terrific players. I think Scott Gomez is still getting paid by the Rangers, so good for him.
Ball coaching, right?
Is he getting paid by like Bobby Bonilla?
Yeah, but no, I mean, all very worth it. And then my buddy Bruce Bennett got into, and
yes, that was awesome to see.
He's the best. Like, Bruce is just the best. I see him probably 4 or 5 times a year at different events, and he's always goofing around. He's just a good guy. He's just terrific. He should do his job forever. It's just, I hope that happens because he's just fun. He's good for the sport. He started as a fan shooting in the stands at Ranger games. Like, it's an incredible story, really.
You never know exactly where it can take you.
The other little nugget that has yet to fall is the possibility of an impending Carey Price trade. But I wonder if
I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, that's the thing.
That's a problem for that's a big problem for Montreal. Big.
I mean, with the adjusting of the LTIR situation, I mean, the benefit would. I mean, a team like Vegas who was up against the cap.
Did you just open up a new canister of Tang? Is that what you're doing while you're talking to us?
No, Russ. I was coughing, so I was going to get a cough drop.
Okay, I'm just asking.
We're doing this live.
Word.
My goodness, but
I didn't even assume that immediately. You are punchy.
Yeah, but the if the LTIR rules were the same, Vegas would be lining up to trade for him because that would give him $10 million worth of flexibility or $10.5 million of flexibility. But now with the way things are adjusted, I don't think the benefit will be there.
Right.
And I don't know who is trading for him other than teams trying to get to the cap floor, and every team is above the cap floor. So they may have a tough time moving.
I don't think it's happening. I just don't. I think teams this year, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of gone stagnant. I mean, we'll see. And you never know.
Yeah, we'll see. But I mean, Montreal certainly would like to get off of that contract, and I think now would be a good time. But got to find a partner who's willing to do it with you. And I just don't see the incentive right now for for a lot of these teams.
That's I mean, it's not like they're. I mean, I don't think they're right at the cap. And
no, they're over. They're over.
They are over.
Oh, once he put them on LTIR, they're like $3 or $4 million on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they'll be fine. I mean, yeah, would they like to spend some money at the deadline? Sure, but they probably have somebody they could send down to the AHL too if they had to. Maybe it's Kirby Doc. I mean, maybe Kirby, or maybe he goes.
He'll He'll be on LTIR as well, right, Russ?
Right. Well, that's what I was just going to say. Maybe he'll end up there too, and then it really won't matter. So,
I doubt it.
who knows? But hockey season's getting ready to start.
It is. Once you cross over September 1, man, it's you're past the end the end of summer
and football season.
Yeah, I'll be at the Jets home opener. I don't know why, but I will be. And
you will, because you're just
I guess I'll boo Aaron Rodgers.
You can't quit them.
Why
would you?
No.
Why would you quit them?
I can't quit you.
No, that's true. I mean, I was very saddened to see Bill Belichick lose in his debut for North Carolina. That was heartfelt.
I very much enjoyed the various AI imagery of who Bill Belichick would be if he didn't have Tom Brady as his
right.
And when the Publix outfit came out, that was fantastic because, as I said on the post, hey, look, it's even Jets green.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that. I mean, look, Lou Holtz is still a legend. He coached the Jets. He quit coaching the Jets. He actually quit mid-season.
You guys broke him. You guys broke him. Right. I can't think of anyone less New York than Lou Holtz.
I know.
I can't think of anybody who's less.
I don't even know why he did it. Like, it'd be interesting to find out why he even took that job. Maybe.
Yeah,
of course. You have to always listen. If you're a coach, you have to at least.
The 70s. It's not like they were making big money in the 70s.
I know they were, but you have to, again, if you have ambitions, I'm sure he probably hadn't said that he wanted to be a pro head coach.
Yeah.
And then it's the same thing. Like, in many ways, I equate what him and Saban in many of the same ways. Saban was was at the pro level, but became legendary at the college level.
So here's the deal. He was actually pretty good money. It was $100,000 a year, part of a 5-year deal. But I guess when he quit, that 5-year deal went away.
Yeah, they probably avoided. They were able to avoid it once.
$100,000. I mean, back then.
Well, I mean, his first mistake was trying to do a Jets fight, trying to create some kind of Jets fight song.
The Jets have the chant. That's it. That's what they've got.
That's it, It is what it is.
The Eagles have their chant. The Jets have theirs.
Exactly.
Like, that's it.
The Bills got the Marv Levy "Go Bills," and that the Marv Levy invented his own.
Marv is like 100. Is he even?
He's 100 years old.
Marv is literally 100. He's still kicking, man.
He's hanging around hoping for the Bills Super Bowl.
How old? I mean, if Marv's 100, I would say Joe Ferguson's got to be like 75.
He's up there, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
Mr. Concussion. That's all I remember. He would go out of anytime they play the Jets, he'd come out of the game at least 2 times with a concussion.
I mean, players in the NFL could probably say the same thing in the era that we used to watch.
Yeah.
And come on, it's probably a concussion every game.
But Mike knows, like, Ferguson seemed to really take a beating.
Yeah, there was a playoff game against San Diego where he played on basically it was a severely sprained ankle, and he basically could not throw the entire game, and running was part of his he was a running quarterback.
He was a running quarterback.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the funny thing. Oh wait, no, okay, this is a different guy. I was like, wait, I had a record of concussions, and I was like, wait, that number doesn't jibe.
But I forgot it.
No, they actually
Russ at +1 for Russ. He's concussed tonight.
Yeah, they don't list it. They don't list it because they didn't count them in those days. Concussions didn't happen. All right, that's it.
Yep.
That's it for Off the Post. We'll catch everybody next time.
Take care, everybody.